the precious essences, present yet absent, the missing jewels within the human being. Jawahir Mawjood, Bazham Mafqood. A closing testament, when the work became a living companion. A translator's testament at the threshold of completion. Today, Sunday, January 11th, 2026, I did not merely finish a book. I dwelt within it. My mornings began with this work. Before the day arranged itself into duties and encounters, I was already seated with the text, translating, listening, carrying meaning across languages and interior thresholds. The book greeted me before the world had found its voice. Breakfast unfolded beside it. My presence with my family was not separate from it. I was fully present with them. And yet the questions moved quietly with me, unannounced companions, asking nothing, demanding nothing, refusing only to depart. Even as ordinary words were exchanged, even as life advanced through its familiar rhythms, the inward dialogue continued, uninterrupted, as though it belonged to the day itself. When I entered my car, the work entered with me. When I drove, it accompanied my motion. When I paused, it remained, without impatience, without claim. I remember dropping my spouse off for shopping and remaining in the car. Time loosened its grip. I worked without interruption, attentive and available, as though the hours had gently stepped aside. So absorbed was I that another parked behind me and blocked my exit. I did not notice it. When my spouse returned and asked, "How did you not see that car behind you?" I had no answer, only the quiet realization that my attention had turned inward so completely that the outer scene had receded, though my care and readiness for her never did. On another occasion, I waited for her while she exercised. Again, the book drew me in. When she returned, the windows of the car were fully fogged. I had not seen them cloud over. She asked, "How did you not notice the windows?" I could only smile, because I knew where my awareness had been resting. The day did not slow when formal work began. 8 hours followed, hours filled with shifting responsibilities, often demanding physical effort. My hands worked, my body moved, and every responsibility was met. Yet beneath that visible rhythm, the questions persisted, alive, precise, and quietly faithful to their course. When I drove home, they traveled with me again. When I reached my city and entered my second job, they did not withdraw. And when I finally returned home, tired, worn, yet inwardly illuminated, I continued until the body itself asked for rest. I fell asleep on the couch with the book beside me. There were moments when this companionship did not pause, even in gatherings meant for celebration. I recall being present at a wedding, physically among people, voices, and music, engaged where engagement was required, yet inwardly seated elsewhere. I did not waste a single minute. Every interval returned me to the work. As the night deepened and people departed one after another, I remained. Near midnight, I was the last to leave, not from withdrawal, but because the soul was being nourished elsewhere. What others sought in celebration, I was receiving through attention. There were also moments more subtle, more revealing. At times, I felt within myself a clear inclination, an inward preference for remaining with this work over the most natural pleasure of the body, food. Not by force, not by discipline, not by denial, but by attraction. I delayed eating. Sometimes I forgot it altogether. The body waited without protest, as though it too recognized that another form of sustenance was at work. Throughout this entire passage, I was not alone. In the course of this most delicate and inwardly demanding labor, the slightest omission, the most subtle error, those I could not perceive, were unfailingly brought to my attention, not through strain or anxiety, but through quiet correction. It was as though another mind observed the work, another heart safeguarded its balance, another presence stood watch over its fidelity. I say this neither as metaphor nor imagination, but as lived experience. Again and again, what I overlooked was revealed. What I misstepped was gently restrained. What I feared I might betray was preserved. It was as if an unseen supervision, wiser, calmer, and more precise than myself, accompanied the work, guiding without command and correcting without rebuke. And always, the author of the book was there with me, not as memory, not as abstraction, but as presence. He walked with me. He watched me. He stood in silence, as though asking only one thing: "Are you faithful?" And I looked at him. I looked at him. Now the work is complete. 40 questions have crossed into another language. 40 voices have been given breath. What moves within me now is a joy so pure it feels like light circulating through blood, a wine not of intoxication but of clarity. And yet entwined with it there is a quiet sorrow, as though a luminous companion, having fulfilled his trust, has gently stepped beyond my reach. This sadness does not diminish the joy. It confirms it, for only what is real can depart. I know I may return to this book again. I know other works await. But this passage, this first full crossing, this total inhabitation will never return in the same way. It has sealed itself within me as an unrepeatable alignment of effort, mercy, and permission. The cup is now empty, yet the wine remains. It moves silently, asking not to be celebrated, not to be explained, only to be lived. This work itself was completed by its author on Wednesday, the 14th of Dal, 1349, Solar Hijri, corresponding to the 7th of Dhu al-Hijjah, 1390, Hijri lunar, on the blessed occasion of Eid al-Adha, within the solitary confinement cells of Demzang prison corresponding to early February 1971. And now, at the end of this long passage, I speak neither as translator nor as witness, but as one entrusted. With full awareness and gratitude, I turn toward the Beloved, toward God Almighty, and thank Him for having chosen me, despite my smallness, for such a rare and demanding trust. If there is any worth in what has been carried, it is not mine. I was only allowed to accompany it for a while, and in return for this exhaustive labor, I ask for nothing that ends with me. Now that this work has crossed from the Dari language into English, the shared language of the world, and now that its meanings have taken the form of voice and sound, I ask the Beloved to carry it further than my hands ever could. Deliver it to the thirsty among humanity, to seekers in Russia, in Japan, in China, across Africa, in America, in Taiwan, in every land and every tongue. Place it into the hands of the thoughtful, the God-seeking, the true philosophers and sincere spiritual souls across all religions, cultures, and paths. I have done what a tiny ant can do, crawling, carrying a grain far larger than itself. Now I ask you, O Beloved, see the zeal, see the effort, and expand what is small into what only you can make universal. And so this book does not conclude with an answer, nor with a claim of completion. It concludes with a trust. What was entrusted has been carried. What was carried has been delivered. And what was delivered has now returned, quietly, into the greater circulation of meaning, mercy in the world.